Probably the best, the news that we could probably receive, and that's the grand jury report. In your manager's report, there's a kind of a synopsis of basically what the grand jury report discussed. And it was conducted pursuant to Penal Code Section 933.5, and the last grand jury review of the district was done in the 2002-2003 fiscal year. And their process was they received a reply from the general manager to the survey of questions. They received our agendas and minutes from April, June, July, and August of 2012. And I believe they even received September, October, and November, did they not? Yeah, all the way through December, we sent everything. And they had the independent auditor's report from 2011, 2012 that they could review. The California Form 700 documents that all of us are required to complete. Information from the online website, as well as the committee met with the general manager on October 9, 2012 to discuss the district for the purposes of completing the report. For the background of facts, basically laying out us in the district, our establishment, in your grand jury report with the blue banner on the left side, will tell you what the background facts were, and it's just describing our charge. But the findings, I think, are particularly important. They found that we post our agendas on the site online in the county library next door at the district offices, and the general manager stated the focus of the board was to stabilize the district, establish the core mission, and establish fiscal balance to achieve a better fiscal position. The district has updated accounting and management tracking of work orders and has online bill pay with the kiosks coming online, located in the lobby of the district building. All the board members received ethics training and are in compliance with 4700 information. The district currently maintains, and now they mentioned 9 wells, and in reality we're maintaining 3 active and inactive wells. We may have had some that we've taken offline, but that's a small aside. And we maintain a tertiary wastewater treatment plant, 2 parks, graffiti removal, 16 evaporative ponds, water banking, and over 550 streetlights. Now in the report you can go on to read in here, but that we handle the parks and recreation and receive a very small amount of funding to maintain the pool at Woodford Park. The district has been working in a deficit, had been working in a deficit when GM was hired 18 months prior. The RCSD is an enterprise district and does not have a general fund to pay the debts, which means basically that being an enterprise fund, if the revenues are not obligated or obligated to a certain extent, then they're referred to as reserves. You'll notice in the special district reserve guidelines, the reserves are and have a very specific explanation as to what they are. They're either encumbered or not encumbered in one manner or another. And we're looking also towards solar to mitigate our electric costs, and I got some information finally today from Southern Cal Edison on that, and I haven't had a chance to open it up and break it down for this meeting. It goes on, and that we provide the graffiti at no cost to our customers, and that the district is not, basically this is one of those areas that although it shows that we have not done an inventory count on our capital assets since 2007, what it does is it's following the auditor's report. We did do the counts and the like, but we did not do it in front of our auditors. So basically, we defaulted back to this year. We put the policy in place that we would do that in front of them, and we'll move forward in this next audit session. The final one in finding 12 stated that June 2012 fiscal audit shows that the district is managed responsibly and is not in deficit. And I think one of the great comments that they put in here was no recommendations. We got a clear bill of health, and their comments at the end also were, the committee would like to thank the Rosamond Community Services District and the general manager for forthright information about the district. Moving on to why the grand jury comes in and does this. They're tasked with the responsibility of oversight of all public agencies within the county or within their purview, in addition to other responsibilities of a legal nature from time to time. And to have the grand jury come in and review your district with a fine-tooth comb, sometimes you get nervous. What are they looking for? What didn't we do? What's the report going to say? And I got to tell you, this is a great report, and I think the district board ought to be proud to have it posted out in public.
I would just like to say one thing to kind of put a little emphasis on their final finding by the grand jury. In their deal, they wrote the budget crunch of 2008-2009 caused a reduction in staff to 17 from approximately 40 to 45 previously employed. And then to go on to F7, the district had been working in deficit when the GM was hired 18 months ago. And then here we are on F12, the June 2012 fiscal audit shows the district is managed responsibly and is not in deficit. That's, to me, that's big news, good news, and shows that we're going on the right track.
Been tasked with putting a lot of numbers together and doing research and the like, and I just have to say, looking at this, their comment under F7 that it had been working in deficit when I got here, I think it would be proper to put credit where credit's due. Although all of us work to start turning the ship around and getting our fiscal house in order. Not that we were gonna sink, but if nothing happened, then we probably would have. But the board saw fit to make decisions. The interim general manager, John Houghton, made a lot of decisions that started turning that ship around, and rightly so. And myself coming in and laying out goals for the staff and encouraging them to dig deep in within themselves to find savings. You don't find that in very many businesses where your employees will go out and say, okay, we can save money here, we can save money there. Our staff did that. We're doing, if you recall, the work of 45 with 17 and some volunteers. And although it gets hectic from day to day at times, your staff is doing a great job in maintaining the fiscal balance, as well as maintaining everything that we have to with a district our size with over 5,000 connections. So this is a testament to, I think, your board's decision-making, your staff in the district, and the district itself. There's been a lot of things written, a lot of things reported, but when you get down to the facts and you start looking at the truth of what we've done, where we're going, it's difficult to make changes immediately. but we have made a lot of positive changes, and we are headed into positive ground. Those changes and the revenues that those changes represent, when and if there's ever a rate increase or a review, the dollars that are saved by what your decisions made will represent that much less that we have to impact our customer base with increases. And I think that should be noted. It's a very important thing, although folks come in, they don't understand that from time to time why we're taking an action. Like last week or last meeting, the gentleman that didn't like the rate increase and gave us the petition. That was great that he came in and complained, but he wasn't anywhere close to the explanation when the explanation was given, when the vote that they demanded happen was taken. They didn't voice their opinion. We need the people here when we have those. We need them to understand what we're doing. We need them to also understand that we're members of the community and pay the same fees, and we don't like it any more than they do. But it's a matter of increase. Today I did research on increases. Labor increase 2.2, 2.9. Materials increase 3.1%. And I looked at the engineer's report in order to find out what is happening, how quick are things moving, and when we as a district make a decision to have to get future revenues, it's not because we're broke, it's because we're doing proper planning. Because when something of a disaster nature occurs, or not even a disaster, but just a break that we cannot foresee, we've got to act and react immediately because of health and safety reasons if it's a sewer, and because of life reasons if it's water. People are going to expect their toilets to flush and their water to flow. And that's the reason, I think, and I think the grand jury's report properly recognizes the district and the decisions your district has made. So I think you ought to take a bow for what you've done because it's proper.
But I think that's, I think we all appreciate that. I think if you look across the board, that's a true meaning of a team concept, because you're right. That doesn't show how many times that the district now, people who bought in-house training and save the district revenues, that some of the ideas that your staff has brought to you. I remember probably mid-year, summer of last year, you gave us a whole laundry list of things that they were bringing to you to help. And I think that's them looking forward also. So it's not just one person or one thing. Now, the grand jury may pull it all together for us, but I think every day we got to look at how we're fighting for us. Wastewater treatment people out there. You bought someone out there, and I think even the person, the consultant, made a comment how hard your guys are working out at the wastewater treatment plant to get, the classifications to get it done right. So I think everyone understands the importance. You're right, the gentleman had a lot of, I wouldn't even call it misinformation. He had bits and pieces of information he was trying to put together, but ultimately, I think, we know what's going on now. It challenge us as a board, and you and your staff. We got to get the people tied in a little bit more, so maybe they understood on a more grander scale what was going on. Rate increase hurts everybody. But the reality of it is, if you don't have certain numbers to put certain dollars in certain places, when you have that disaster, it's even worse. So I think that maybe we need to work a little bit harder than I discussed this morning. Of getting out, letting people know, bring in here. Today we have 2 media people. Next week they'll be complaining, the community will be complaining about something, but we just address one of it. So maybe we need to work a little bit harder. Even if we got to the place where we each want a guest, invite a guest, like you do, at schools or whatever. If someone brings someone, you get people to realize that, everyone's working hard in their best interest. That grand jury report, that does make you feel good. Because when you hear the word grand jury, you always want to think the opposite. We're looking at one thing, the minus side of the box versus the plus side.
I know the grand jury demands a lot of extra work, so give my thanks to the staff for taking that on and doing their regular work too. That's an extra burden.
Thank you.
I have a question. Being new on this board, that guy that come in, can they, if they get enough people together, can they legally set the water rates?
No,
They can't?
no.
Or what's his petition for then?
He's doing what he feels he can do to voice his opinion with others with him instead of dragging him in here. They'll sign a petition, they'll say, look, we don't like something. And it's the best form of government, it's right here in this room, because they can walk across the street, they can drive here down from home and do that. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all 10 of them have to be here, because one person can tell you what they feel, and that's what he did. What's necessary for the board is to take heed that he has a concern. Even though the explanation has been given on why the rates were set like they were, the numbers were provided, the workshops were provided, and a vote was taken to do that. But it was done some 4 or 5 years ago. And now he's coming up because it's starting to impact. We should expect probably more and more of this type of thing to happen. Not so much because we're doing something wrong, but because we recognize that people in the community are hurting because of the overall economics of what's going on in our country. So it's not surprising. I think he did a very good job at presenting his displeasure. He was professional, he was respectful, and he did it. And truly, in those cases, it's great to be able to sit down with people like that and say, okay, here are the facts, here's the facts that the decision was made under, and what would you do if you were making the decision? Now, he may not agree with it, but at least he'll understand where this board came from when they made the decision.
Why is he filing it with the county?
He could, I don't know, it has no real force of making us do something different, other than he feels that if he does this, that it has some force in law, which it does not.